Hey there, fellow readers. This is Rambling Collector here. And first of all, happy Thanksgiving. Hope you all are doing well. Secondly, I know you all are probably surprised to see me on camera for a little while, but hear me out. I wanted to talk about a new manga that just came out from one of my favorite manga artists and authors, that being Nagata Kabi. And first, the manga itself is known as My Pancreas Broke, but My Life Got Better, which I know doesn't exactly inspire the idea that this is going to be a very good story, which it isn't. I'm going to say that right now. However, this is another addition to Nagata Kabi's works that I personally felt a lot of relatability to, primarily from the social anxiety as well as in hospitals in general. I myself actually work in a hospital, and I completely understand her fears of this, especially how this is actually a sequel, if you would, to one of their previous works, that being My Alcoholic Escape from Reality, which, funny enough, was actually one of the first ever mangas that I reviewed on this channel, which, come to think of it, I probably should go back and redo that video, because, oh dear lord, where do I begin? It is so bad, I'm sorry, but it is. Then again, I know how it all starts. All new reviewers, we all start off rough and we get better as we go. I fully understand that. But lord, when I look at it, I just want to cringe. But regardless, as I said before, this particular work, My Pancreas Broke but My Life Got Better, is once again a follow-up to My Alcoholic Escape from Reality. Which, for those of you who do not know, Alcoholic Escape was about how Nagata started having a very serious drinking problem and very nearly developed pancreatitis because of it. But now this is the follow-up to that, indicating that they are now inflicted with pancreatitis from severe drinking, from what they described it as 24/7, 365. And that alone is a scary thought. But when you find out the reasons why Nagata was doing this to herself, in particular, you might find a series of relatability there. Because a lot of people, sometimes they will drink to forget, or sometimes they'll just do it to have a good time. In Nagata's case, it was to avoid the pain, in a way. Because unfortunately, Nagata deals with a lot of social anxiety, which I'm sure a lot of us can feel. Social, emotional, just severe anxiety in general, not to mention the idea that they just don't belong in this world. And Nagata's mangas are extremely real because of this, because you can find some relatability in their writings as you read. And to me, that always struck a chord with me, and why I'm still such an avid fan of their works. Hell, I'm not kidding when I say this. When my girlfriend and I were on a date to Barnes & Noble, and I saw this sitting on the shelf in the manga section, I flipped and immediately had to go grab this, because I've been an avid fan of their work for a while now. If you're curious, I actually have done, like I mentioned before, Alcoholic Escape from Reality. But I also did a review of one of their other works, Solo Exchange Diary, Volume 1. Some of these I might need to go back and redo for different presentations, at most. But regardless, though, I will say I do recommend their works wholeheartedly. But back to this. One of the things I like about this is that this is an autobiographical manga. It's the author sharing their story with you, something about their life. And that, once again, strikes a chord. But over the course of this, we see how she does with multiple hospital visits, dealing with loud patients, the rushes of trying to escape, in a way. She actually manages to escape twice, but feels immediately guilty right afterwards. All because of the sheer anxiety of it, like hearing patients who are constantly screaming and yelling, who are begging for help, even a loud patient who is constantly asking questions and whatnot. And then, of course, they would always be like, when can we be able to have food? And they said, probably not for a few weeks. You can't leave just yet. Because by this point, Nagata is in severe straits. Their pancreas is essentially almost stopped by this rate, and they have to control themselves from alcohol, which they do get better by the end, they do. But I will say, it was definitely a rough patch, especially with how they kept on flipping out over the hospital, which, how many people have ever felt like that? Just that sheer fear of having to go back into a hospital, not be an outpatient, and have to stay there for what could be days, weeks, maybe even months, who knows? It's that common fear that everyone has of being stuck in a medical facility. And this right here addresses that. Not only that, but it has a really good artwork, even now. One of the things that I always love is Nagata's works, how they always have this particular artwork, which as you can see, is different from regular manga. While it's not exactly detailed, it does have these nice little splashes of color throughout, ranging from orange, like it is shown here, to shades of pink, as shown in Solo Exchange Diary, as you can see right here. And I like how that makes Nagata's works stand out among regular manga, because more often than not, colored sheets are a very rare thing. In manga especially, because of how expensive it would be to not only draw this thing, but also to color it in. But with Nagata's works, it adds just that little bit of color to make it pop, to make it distinct from regular manga. And to me, that says a lot about her work and dedication. But more than that, I will say the sheer anxiety of it all, I definitely related to the most, especially moments like this, where she is absolutely wigging out. Who hasn't felt that in their lives? And to be honest with you, once again, this manga in particular, at one point, there's also major struggles with parents. Now, how many people have ever dealt with that before? The struggles with communicating with their parents, but then figuring out that they still care. They can still be a buffer to you from all the stresses of life. To me, that says a lot, at the very least. Even when it might seem like you are struggling, there's always going to be somebody who will be there to try to help to catch you. And there's a lot of cool lessons that are learned throughout these mangas. And to be quite honest with you, I want to go back and review some of these, or at least reread this whole entire series that she has crafted, which to me is amazing to behold. Now, I will say though, I would 100% recommend this, especially to anyone who has ever dealt with severe alcoholism or even pancreatitis. I would definitely recommend this if you want something relatable. And if not, you can always grab this and the previous piece, Alcoholic Escape from Reality, which, if you'll want to check out the video, I will leave a link in the description for it, and you'll be able to see just how bad it is. Trust me, it's probably pretty bad. But more than that, though, if you're also curious, I will leave a link to my review of Solo Exchange Diary down below in the description. So if you want to check out more of Nagata's works, I would highly recommend you do so, mainly for the sheer relatability that you could probably feel towards this creator. Anyways, you guys, I think I've probably talked long enough. If you guys enjoyed this review, feel free to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, or subscribe if you're interested in what I do here. Or if you have any suggestions for me in the future, please feel free to let me know. It is always appreciated, and I always appreciate a good conversational tone down in the comments. Believe me, it brightens up my day when I see my notifications just blowing up with people who are like, hey, I've heard of this before, or starting up a conversation with me in the comments. It's always so much fun to deliberate. Anyways, you guys, once again, thank you so much for listening to my crazy ramblings. If you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts. Thank you all for listening. Happy Thanksgiving, folks. I will see you all in the next video. Take care, fellow readers.